Some people with us, some with their frown. Still I know my purpose is to share what we found. Some people insist to wear others down. And all will bear witness unto who wears the crown.
Meet the Israelite tribe of Simeon, whose patrilineal genetic haplogroup also falls under the broader EM2 umbrella. Note, the specific subclade for the Israelite Simeon and his descendants is EV13. Now let's get to the facts. 1970. Simeon's son Jacob ossuary is discovered in a burial cave within the Peace Forest area of Jerusalem by a group of Israeli archaeologists led by Amos Kloner. From 1970 to 2012, the ossuary remains relatively unknown until it gains attention due to the rising commercial interest in genetic mapping for profit in the pharmaceutical industry. Don't worry, we will expose that part of the cesspool in the upcoming series. In 2013, Dr. Aaron L. Hayek and his team conduct radiocarbon dating on the bones from Simeon's ossuary. The results of the dating analysis reveal that the ossuary date back to the Second Temple period, providing strong evidence for the ossuary's historical context. But you may be wondering, isn't Simeon the son of Jacob older than the Second Temple era in Israel? Yes, he is. Note, our Israelite ancestors followed a tradition of two-step burial. You see, after the initial burial in a tomb, the deceased body would decompose, leaving behind skeletal remains. These remains would then be collected and placed in small limestone bone boxes known as ossuaries. This maximized burial space and maintained familial connections. The use of ossuaries reflects practical considerations and our Israelite belief in bodily resurrection. So experts confirmed he was taken from a Simeonite family necropolis and placed in an ossuary between 516 BCE and 70 CE, which is the Second Temple era. This is important to understand, as those who cannot accept the truth have tried to stir up doubt and controversy based on archaeological context, even after science and experts have substantiated the facts. Moving along. In 2013, during the same period, genetic sequencing is performed on the bones associated with the Simeon ossuary. Dr. Aaron L. Hayek and his team discover the presence of a specific genetic marker known as E1B1A3 or EV13. This genetic marker is most commonly found among Israelite populations, also called Bantu-Negro, which scientific evidence proves originated in the Levant and Middle East, further supporting the authenticity of the ossuary. In 2016, Dr. Aryeh Shimron, a scientist from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, leads a team that publishes a study in the journal Archaeometry. The study provides additional evidence supporting the authenticity of Simeon's ossuary. It highlights that the ossuary was made using a technique commonly employed during the Second Temple period, strengthening its historical credibility. In 2019, Dr. Elisabetta Boretto, a scientist from the University of Padova, leads a team that publishes a study in the journal PLOS One. The study presents additional evidence indicating that the bones found within the Simeon's ossuary belongs to the same individual. The study demonstrates that the bones exhibit signs of having been buried together and possess a consistent chemical composition, further substantiating the authenticity of the ossuary and its connection to Simeon, son of Jacob. Here is statistical data on how many African American males carry the EV13 marker. 23andMe, estimated 15 to 20%. Ancestry DNA, estimated 10 to 15%. Family tree DNA, also estimated at 10 to 15%. So, roughly 17% of an estimated 20 million African American males carry the EV13 genetic marker. This means there are 3 million Simeonites living in the United States alone, who unfortunately identify themselves as two continents, Africa and America. Simeon's EV13 genetic marker, like his brother's, is consistent with being a subclade of EM2. As stated, this proves Israelites have a common paternal ancestor in Israel. In conclusion, it should be noted that genetic data is pretty reliable and specific. Some of you may still choose to identify as whatever, but if you have this genetic marker, you are an Israelite whose genetic lineage emerged in the Levant and Middle East before the Bantu expansion into Africa. It's astonishing that academia, organized religion, and commercial genetic companies have failed to share the information that millions of suffering Bantu-Negroes in the diaspora are, in fact, scientifically God's chosen people. Let's delve into the reasons behind this silence. Politics play a significant role in the suppression of this truth. Certain groups fear losing their control over economic resources in Israel and North Africa. Their self-interest outweighs the moral obligation to acknowledge our rightful place, leading them to hide the reality of our heritage. Religion, too, becomes a barrier to our recognition. Millions of adherents to Eurocentric world religions would face a crisis of faith if confronted with the truth that Negroes are God's chosen people. The dogmas they hold dear clash with this profound revelation, causing fear and resistance to acknowledging the undeniable connection between us and our divine ancestry. Commercial interests further contribute to this veil of silence. DNA and pharmaceutical companies have profited immensely by studying hereditary illnesses associated with specific genetic markers. They have built fortunes upon our suffering without acknowledging our true identity as God's chosen people. The fear of losing this profitable industry perpetuates their silence, but fear not, Israel. We hold within our grasp the means to uncover our specific Israelite tribe so that we can ourselves and be set apart. Through a simple commercial DNA tests, you can reclaim your heritage and embrace the truth that has been withheld from us for far too long. Stay tuned, for content is forthcoming to guide us on this transformative journey. Shalom.